I don't know, Charlotte, I feel like I'm not even asking for that much. I want a showroom condition 2015 Kia Forte EX. I want it in a beautiful black.
Ooh.
And I want no owners before me, no accidents, extremely clean vehicle, no dents or dings. Can you do that for me?
Gabby. The used car factory for that vehicle closed in 2015.
Aww.
Darn. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Trunk Talk. My name is Charlotte.
And I'm Gabby.
And this is the podcast where we talk about everything in the automotive industry. And today we're being heavy on the industry. Woo, woo, woo. We also do it in the back of a trunk. What are we sitting in today?
Today we're in a 2018 Toyota Yaris, certified sweet ride.
Ooh.
But you know what it's not certified?
It's not a Kia Hyundai.
It's not a Kia Hyundai. And Charlotte and I have a YouTube channel entirely dedicated to filming Kia and Hyundai vehicles.
No
So what
way.
are we doing in this off-brand vehicle?
It's almost like it's got something to do with today's topic.
Which is
New versus used cars. And how do you know which one you should buy? So for today, we're going to be breaking down what a new car is, what a used car is, the pros, the cons, and then also bringing that all together to give you guys some points to help you evaluate based on your lifestyle if you should buy new or if you should buy used. But spoiler or disclaimer alert, I guess.
disclaimer alert, we're more so talking about very generic vehicles. So think your Civics, your Fortes, your basic cars. We're not talking about classics, we're not talking about exotics, we're not talking about performance vehicles or modified vehicles. This is just your everyday vehicle, really.
Yeah, just your regular consumer creature comforts.
I think what I also say is that this is going to be very subjective.
Yeah,
because
surprise.
This is such a subjective thing, and that's going to tie us to the end of this podcast where we kind of break down how you should really view these vehicles. Because we'll give you the facts, but at the end of the day, it comes down to what you find and what's available near you.
Yeah,
So
apply it to your lifestyle.
let's start off with new.
All right, so let's talk about what a new car is. So a new car, exactly as the name implies, it is brand new. And when you buy it, you are the first owner of that vehicle. The vehicle is typically going to be sold to you from a dealership that is a franchise of an OEM, and it's going to be sold to you in the original manufacturer condition, hopefully. Crazy things can happen, but
So
not
you can
usually.
find new cars at dealerships.
You can find new cars at dealerships, absolutely. So now that we know what a new car is, let's talk about some of the pros and the cons behind them. So I'll start with pros to keep it positive and on a light note, and it'll tie in really good as we go into our cons to talk about with our used car as well. So pros is, you're good. So with pros is obviously when it comes to a new vehicle, you know that when you are buying one, you are getting the most up-to-date at that time. Technology, comfort features, safety features is a really big thing, especially for me now being a mom. All I'm thinking about is safety for my kid should something happen. So when I talk about that, it means that you could get the option for the bigger screen, wireless CarPlay, over-the-air software updates for your vehicle. So when it comes down to things, like safety items, you're more than likely going to be able to get more advanced collision avoidance assist features that actually can apply emergency braking. So stuff like that is really cool. But also just more of our regular everyday comfort features. The fact that even on more base model vehicles, we're seeing the integration of key fob remote start or heated seats with a heated steering wheel. And then of course, as you go up into the trim lineup, you can get more things like ventilated seats, your telematics system, so setting the temperature with your phone. And this also ties me into a secondary pro, and that's the fact that there's such a high degree of personalization available when you are ordering a new vehicle.
So much choice.
Is you can get the trim that you want. You can make sure that you tailor the features that you get to that specific trim in your lifestyle. You can get it in the color that you want, which is such a big thing because you want to like the color that you're driving, right?
If I'm spending a lot of money on a car, I want to make sure I love it.
Absolutely.
I think it's worth noting that it's not even just exterior color. Some of our vehicles allow an interior colored option.
Absolutely.
And that is something it's a big difference.
I want a pecan brown interior. I love a colored interior.
Yeah.
That's one thing I absolutely love. And when you're ordering a new vehicle, you are able to pick the trim, the exterior color, and the interior color that you want with all of your favorite tech safety features.
Yeah.
So huge amount of customization available.
Absolutely.
I've got two other points for our pros, and they're going to work hand in hand. So the first one is that you are going to get a full warranty period on the vehicle as well. So when you buy it, when the vehicle is registered to you, that's when your warranty is going to start on it, and you get to reap the full benefit of that. It's not a limited warranty anymore. Limitations, in terms of the remaining term. And if you want to learn more on warranty, we literally just did an episode on it, so we'll have that link down below for you too. But also the reliability is a huge concern for people when they're making such a big investment purchase, which a car is. It's a huge investment, big chunk of money. You want it to work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, it's no surprise, though, that as vehicles age and as you put more mileage on them, or really any machines, that they're going to wear out and that they're going to need some repair. The nice thing about having this warranty period is that you know that the repair cost is not going to be something that's left up to you. You don't have to worry about that coming out of your pocket. It's gonna come out of the manufacturer's pocket.
Absolutely.
But also the reliability is going to be there. You know that should something happen, you don't have to worry about it. But let's be real, your chances of that happening are pretty low in that first period.
Absolutely.
All right, cons, I guess, for new cars.
Yeah. What are they?
Let's do some cons. Let's keep it negative. Depreciation. I think that's probably the biggest one, so we may as well just get it out of the way.
Yeah.
And you actually know a statistic, don't you? The statistic.
20 to 30% within the first year, and depending on the type of vehicle you're driving, luxury vehicles especially, so I'm talking about the big three, our Germans, depreciation's big time for those guys.
Absolutely.
But it happens to every single car, and more specifically, it's going to be new cars. That's where you're going to take the biggest hit. But yeah. If you're keeping it for a long time, that's okay. But if your plans are to trade it in after a few years, you might want to be cautious about that.
That's something that you're probably going to really wrestle with. And if you're anything like me, you're probably going to struggle with the idea of depreciation, especially with such a big percentage of it happening within the first year of ownership.
Yes.
Really, the second that the vehicle drives over the curve,
it loses value.
You're losing value. So if you're not planning on keeping your vehicle for a very long time, or if you like to trade up and stuff like that, then it may not be the best investment for you, and you may have to do a little bit of a cost analysis on if that's something that you want to do in the future to prevent yourself from rolling over any type of negative equity too.
I will say it's also very subjective to the type of vehicle.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of backtracking in this episode because we went through something about 2 or 3 years ago. Actually, I guess everyone went through it, but more specifically in the car dealership world, where some vehicles were worth way more than what they were a year ago.
Than their original MSRP.
Yes, and I don't know, we had customers trading in 1-year-old vehicles getting more than what they paid for.
Yeah.
So
it was absolutely crazy.
It was a time. Fortunately, that time's over.
Ugh,
but
thank goodness.
It did happen.
What a crazy time to be in the car industry.
Absolutely.
Of course, another con when it comes to new vehicles is they are going to have a higher cost. So the actual purchase price is, of course, going to be higher, not just in the MSRP, but also with the fact that you, as the first owner, are going to be responsible for air and freight fees, so delivery and destination fees, of course.
New car fees.
Yeah, new car fees. You are footing the bill on those.
Yes.
They are going to be, of course, included in the advertised price, but you just kind of know that you're not necessarily paying for the car, you are paying for some of the fees associated with getting it here.
Yeah.
Which, again, can sometimes be harder to reconcile.
Can I throw a pro out there that we missed earlier? So another pro, just on the topic of actually paying for the vehicle, you can actually lease a new car, but you can't necessarily lease a used vehicle. So if you are someone who likes trading in, getting the latest tech every couple of years, a lease is a fantastic option for you that you just can't get with a used car. But you probably knew that already if you are shopping for a used car. So
there you go. Yeah, so definitely flexibility when it comes to actually payment or financing. Also, I guess I'll toss it out there, rates. Rates are significantly lower for a new car than they are for a used vehicle, depending on the term, as well as the mileage. So that is something that's great. With even we're starting to see the return of some subvented rates. Okay.
I got another con.
Oh, okay, go for it.
You might have this too, though.
Yeah, I fear we do.
Dealerships. Now, it's very bold of two girls that work for dealerships to be saying
okay,
this.
wait. If you're Pat and Tim, click off. Pat and Tim, click off.
Well, it's not. I don't think we're the problem.
No.
I will say, not to be those girls, but dealership. A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth from dealership experiences. A lot of people have been burned by dealerships, scammed by dealerships. They call them stealerships, and hey, some dealers are. Yeah. They live up to that name. You know what I mean? But not every store is like that, so definitely do your due diligence on where you're shopping. If you're in Ontario and are looking for a Kia and Hyundai, obviously our stores would be happy to help you out and treat you right. But I know not everyone here is from Ontario. Not everyone here is shopping for a Kia or Hyundai. Just,
keep in mind.
Keep in mind.
I will say, we actually have done an episode on red and green flags for picking your dealership, so go and give that a listen before you choose where you want to shop. If you are in Ontario, we would love to help you guys out, of course.
Yeah.
If you're shopping for any of our new or used vehicles, we'd love to help you. But I also will say, like, you know, getting a vehicle, that is something that should be exciting. And, you know, I think cars are super exciting. I love cars. Obviously, that's why I work in this industry. And I think it's really sad when people, you know, feel some nerve or some anxiety about going and purchasing a vehicle because of the dealership aspect.
Yeah.
And if that is, you know, your prerogative, I'm very sorry to hear that. And, you know, I hope that you find a great group to work with and get into the vehicle that you absolutely love and have so much fun with it.
Absolutely.
And I say that with the utmost humility, of course.
Yes.
Okay, I have another con.
We're negative today.
I know, and it is the fact that sometimes with your new vehicles, especially as we're coming out of the COVID period, may not readily be available.
Yes.
And that is the fact that a lot of manufacturers have adopted something called an order bank, where you place your order for a vehicle, but it's not necessarily here on the lot available for you to take home or even to test drive on that day. So that is something that, you know, is definitely a little bit of a con, is that it may not necessarily be readily available, but it is still able to be gotten.
Yes.
The time just might vary.
Yes. Many manufacturers are still facing problems with plug-in hybrids and regular hybrids. There's still big wait times. I know some Toyota stores are upwards of 3 years for the RAV4 Prime, and here at Kia, we're struggling for our hybrids and plug-in hybrids too. So
I will say, on the Kia end of things, is Kia Canada has confirmed that we are seeing a significant increase in plug-in hybrids that we will be seeing, and hybrid vehicles that we will be seeing this year. So
nice.
We'll let you know if it's true or not.
A Contoured Pro.
Contoured Pro.
We'll see.
We get to give you the guys that tidbit.
Yeah,
All
stay
right.
tuned.
Tell me about used cars.
So used cars are very similar to new cars.
No way.
Except they're not.
Oh my goodness.
So it's quite literally the opposite. A used car is a vehicle that has already been driven. Maybe it's had 1 owner, 10 owners. It can so vary. There is so much that can happen in a used car's life that can make it worth it or not. So let's break down some of the pros. Number 1 is lower initial cost. And this, again, is subjective. If you are looking at a used car, but it's a very specialized model, and I said we were going to keep it generic, but I don't know, let's say you guys, this one's got...
We're straying from that.
Yeah, this one's got extremely low mileage. Maybe it's a limited edition trim. It could be pretty expensive, even though it's a vehicle that's already had an owner and it's already been driven, you know? So, but it typically does have a lower initial cost. If I'm looking at a 2015 Honda Civic versus a brand new 2024,
it's going to have a lower sticker price.
Yeah, it's going to have a lower sticker price, which is, I mean, for some people, awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Next up, there's no new car fees. Because this vehicle has already been registered, it's been purchased, it's lived its life, you don't have that freight, you don't have that air, you don't have that tire tax. It's a used car, so you kind of just pay whatever it's listed as plus tax here in Ontario.
Yep.
There's also going to be less depreciation. Like we mentioned for new cars, that 20 to 30% hit happens within the first year of ownership. After that, it's a slow burn. So if you're buying a car, let's say a 2008 Honda Accord, I don't think there's any more depreciation left on that. So you can drive that vehicle happily, not worrying about anything. Do you know what I mean? So because used cars can vary so much, it could be a used car that's maybe 2 or 3 years old, which is still typically going to be expensive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as the conditions are right. Or it could be a 20, 30-year-old used car that's on its last legs, but hey, you found a really good deal and you're driving it. So there's...
If it goes, it goes.
It's seriously, we always joke about the used car factory at our dealership. So our dealer, obviously for new, we sell Kia product, but for used cars, we take everything. We take vehicles on trade, we can buy some stuff from auction.
We had a limo one time.
Yeah, we've had so many different things. A Porsche GT4. But we
That was
also
crazy.
have, I don't know, we once had a 2005 Cadillac DTS. You know what I mean? Like,
Like certified sweet rides.
yeah, it varies. It very much varies. So there's that. I will say there's so much variety in the used car world. So Charlotte mentioned that was a bonus for new cars, but quite literally, if you open up Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji Autos, anything, you can find anything and everything. You can find a Honda Civic in every other color. Now, what the cons will be with that, though, is the history. And this is where used cars can really take a hit. If I have two, I keep saying Honda Civics, I gotta switch it up. If I have 2 Toyota Corollas, same year, they're both 2016s, they're both in the SE trim level. One has 120,000 kilometers, one has 60,000 kilometers, but has a major, major, major hit on it. Smells like smoke, has torn up seats. Those could be listed for the exact same price, but on paper, the Corolla that has lower mileage is probably gonna sound better. You go to test drive it, and it's a complete rat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really gotta try them out and see them in person and ask the proper questions and really study the history of these vehicles. And if, depending on where you're buying it, because you can buy used cars at a dealership or you can buy them privately, the history may or may not be as readily available to you.
Yes.
So that is one of my biggest issues with buying privately. You kind of don't really know what you're getting into. You can hope for the best that you're going to get an honest seller.
You can ask in Ontario. You are required to disclose like a used vehicle information package, which you should ask for in advance.
Yeah. But still.
But yeah, still sometimes the information that is there can be limited, and you don't necessarily know the full story behind the vehicle. It's a mysterious woman.
Yeah, so you seriously have to do a lot of research, both on finding the right vehicle, but also making sure that the vehicle that you selected is an okay ride.
Yes.
It's a little tough. I will say dealerships help a lot with this because they typically sell them safetied and with some sort of warranty.
Yeah, like a 30-day safety guarantee.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I don't know. It depends what you're looking for, really. Condition is something that's going to vary as well, too. Obviously, if it's a used car, it's encountered elements. If it's seen Canadian winters, if it's driven a lot on the highway, you could have a sandblasted windshield, a hood that's picked up tons of stone chips, or you could have a vehicle that had such a clean history, a meticulous owner that has no scuffs, no nothing, and it's going to completely vary. It's going to be so different.
There's almost an overwhelming amount of variety out there.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Like, arguably, there's more variety in used cars than new cars.
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah, you can pick everything you want on your new car, but hey, the Civic I just found.
I'll say there's more variety when it comes to used vehicles, but there's more customization when it comes to new vehicles.
Yeah.
Is at least for the variety in new vehicles, it kind of boils down to the one model, and from there, there's multiple different options from there, like the multiple different trims, colors, stuff like that. Whereas used cars as a whole, it's like, hey, I want to spend $20,000, or I want a Honda Civic. Let's see what I can find.
Yeah.
So,
in a way, I said there's more variety, but there is arguably less choice for you as a purchaser.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know that.
Socrates.
That kind of counteracts what I just said,
Yeah.
but
philosophical.
Yeah, if I know I want a used Kia Forte, I might not have that much to actually choose from based off what I like. If I only want a red car and I need it in a Forte EX trim, there might actually not be that many out there at the time that I'm looking. It really comes down to when you're looking and what's for sale. I can't order a 2015 used Kia Forte. Do you know what I mean? So if this one has a lot of mileage on it, but it's the only one out there and I really want it, I guess that's what I'm stuck with. Do you know what I mean? Unless I want to wait a couple more months and hope that another one comes up for sale, it is what it is when you're looking. Also, maintenance and warranty. How did the previous owner maintain this vehicle? Just every single oil change, is it clocked? Did they never get any oil changes? Well, hopefully the Carfax lists that.
We've
Hopefully
seen
the
it all.
seller lets you know. Also, warranty, again, if you're buying a vehicle that's 1 year old, technically it's considered used, but you will still have factory warranty on it depending on the mileage. Or if you're buying a 20-year-old vehicle, you can expect to not have any warranty on it, and you're probably going to have to pay for some maintenance. It's just, you should probably expect to have to pay for more things when you are buying a used car. You will be footing the bill if there's no longer any warranty on it. And sometimes warranty won't be available for purchase afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to know. I kind of want to circle back to a pro of used vehicles. So let's say I'm buying a 2-year-old pickup truck. The previous owner had already put a hitch on it. Maybe they have an extra set of tires. I don't know, maybe they've just spec'd it out, they've taken great care of it, and they've added accessories. Buying it used, I could also get all of those accessories with it. They might sell it separately, but sometimes they will include it.
Yeah.
So you could have a fully equipped vehicle ready to roll based on everything you like, already used. So lower purchase price with all those extra goodies.
And lower acquisition for the accessories as well, which is great.
Absolutely.
And sometimes things run out with that. Like truthfully, that's kind of what happened when it came to buying my motorcycle. Is with it, I bought the bike, I got a trickle charger, I got a cover, I got 3 helmets, I got a windscreen.
You got
I got
a lot.
bags. Yeah, like I got a ton of stuff for a really awesome price, and that's definitely the benefits of getting something used. Sometimes super low mileage. Yeah.
Sometimes you get nothing, but sometimes they set you up.
Sometimes you get everything.
Yeah, they give you a whole starter kit, which is really nice. So there's so much variety with used vehicles that you never know, really.
No. Okay, so when should you buy new and when should you be buying used? Let's evaluate that.
So a lot of it, of course, is going to come down to your preferences. Like Charlotte mentioned, one of the huge pros of buying new is you're getting the latest and greatest tech and safety. So here for Kia, we have a bunch of safety functions standard, and if that's very important for you, you might not find that on a 2-year-old vehicle. That sounds great on paper, it might not have all that stuff. So that might make sense. Also, if you're someone who likes to lease vehicles, you're probably going to have to go with new.
Yeah. I'm going to say budget as well.
Yeah.
What can your budget afford you? What do you need for your budget? You know, if you're someone who's looking for a van, vans can be more expensive. Of course, they are, you know, it's going to be a lower price if you're buying them used. You just kind of have to evaluate what type of vehicle it is you're looking for, what your budget is, see what's attainable from there.
Yeah. So I will just point out, vans are one of the vehicles that are still very, very expensive on the used car market.
Yeah.
Because most manufacturers that offer vans still have wait times.
Yeah.
So the Kia Carnival, for example, the Sienna has a wait time. I believe the Odyssey still has a wait time. So those vehicles used are still pretty high up in price.
Another one I want to say is usage. What are you using the vehicle for?
Yeah.
Is this a commuter where you need it to be something reliable to take you, 30 plus kilometers on the highway? It's something that can get up to highway speeds, stuff like that? Or is it something where you're like, I just need it to get me from point A to point B. I'm a casual driver. If, I've got other options, I've got another vehicle, should I need it? Stuff like that. That might help you evaluate, do I need something new? Do I need something used? Also, towing is another thing to consider, of course. What are you using the vehicle for? What is your main purpose? Is it a family hauler? Is it just a hauler? Is it just, it goes perfect. My first car, it goes,
Yeah, there's no perfect vehicle. I
No.
think it's definitely a no one size fits all. You really gotta
One size fits most.
One size fits most for sure. You gotta really consider what's important to you,
Yeah.
what you're willing to compromise on, and of course what you're willing to spend, and decide which vehicle fits that bill better.
So with that being said, is take the information that we told, but evaluate it based on your budget, evaluate based on your usage, your preferences, and also your resale plans.
Yeah.
So because all of those are going to affect your decision on if you should buy a new or used vehicle, and it's going to be different for every single person, and it's completely up to you. That is the beauty of it. We get to give you some information and yap about it, but you guys got to go and make the decision and have the fun with it.
And you could find such a perfect used car or not.
Toyota Yaris.
Yeah, Toyota Yaris. This one's actually extremely clean. It is sold and it's going to be picked up, I believe, today. But what a beautiful used car. But we've also seen some 2018s, which isn't even that old, that have been completely beat up. So you really just got to look, see what's out there, and hope for the best. But we always say there's a hard, let's say 80,000 kilometers and a soft 80,000 kilometers. Just a few days ago, I was driving. It was a 2021 used Kia Seltos, and it had over 100,000 kilometers. And I was saying to myself, the Seltos is a relatively new addition to our lineup. This is the highest mileage Seltos I've ever seen, and it drives brand new. Likewise, I hopped in a used vehicle that didn't have that high of mileage, and that thing was shaking, quaking. It did not sound good. So, what was the lifestyle like? Ask questions.
Definitely. Do research.
Yeah. There's so much out there, and it's almost intimidating.
Yeah.
But
Don't let it scare you.
yeah, don't let it scare you at all.
Well, on that note, that pretty much wraps up today's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're watching this on a podcast platform, please rate this podcast. It means a lot to us. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below on what you want to see next, and also what you think about this. Would you buy new? Would you buy used? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, take care.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.